And so what a lot of people don't understand is that when you're on this path, it is the loneliest path. It's the loneliest path that can be for a human when you are embarking on this awakened path, when you're searching for what we call enlightenment, the final clarity, the final truth. You see, because you may have multiple awakenings, like I've mentioned in other videos, but there's a difference between the initial awakening and then what transpires between that and this final clarity that you see finally. And what happens is that now that you've attained this state of being, okay, it's not something that you're necessarily reaching for. In a way you are. It's hard to put it into words. What more accurately it is you are unraveling the layers of yourself. You are unmasking yourself. You are uncovering yourself. And then your true beingness is what's shining. You start to embody, you start to realize your truest essence, and that's what comes to the forefront. And everything else that you've built up along the way, your conditioned self, all these ideas, this trauma, this pain, all of this gunk, it recedes into the background, and now you step into yourself more fully. The thing, though, that happens is that in religion, in certain mythologies and religions and stories, it's referred to as the removal of ignorance, because now you see, you understand, you have a knowing, right? So it's like there's like a duality there. There's the person that's ignorant, just simply, and it's not even like a negative thing, oh, you're so ignorant, like we've turned it into that. No, it's just ignorance as in not knowing. And then the person that knows, that sees, that interprets life through this truth and clarity and love. Okay? And so what happens is, now that you're not ignorant anymore, now that you see, now that you understand the true nature of stuff, and you start extrapolating from this truth that you're rooted in, you start extrapolating into like the true nature of reality and how stuff really fundamentally works. You're stuck understanding while the rest are still asleep. They haven't awakened. And here's the thing. There are many people that are waking up and are awakened, and even they are still ignorant. It's like a percentage scale. It's like a spectrum. You're at the 100%, and somebody that woke up, they think they know, they think they understand, they've glimpsed some truth, they like have some understanding a little bit. Maybe they're like at 80%. They still have that final 20% to go. And these are just arbitrary numbers. It could be anything. It could be 50%. It could be whatever. Compared to the person that's like really lost in hell. The person that's really truly attached to the identity of what they are and their story and their victimhood and all of this crap, right, that we all go through, the suffering that's needed. It's a prerequisite. It's a requirement to wake up. It's built in that way. God's a genius creating it that way. Suffer, suffer, suffer. Finally, too much suffering. Something's got to change. And then I awaken. And then just because I awaken and I see the truth for a little bit doesn't mean that like all of a sudden I'm fully enlightened. See, that's where you get into this trap. You're like, am I enlightened yet? I don't know. Has it happened yet? I don't know. You think you know, but you don't really know. It's like your mind telling you that you're awakened and enlightened now, but you're really not. Because the true enlightened person, the true spiritualist, the true 100%er, as we're going to call it, right? There's really no adequate way to describe it. The true truth teller, they don't ask those questions. They're not sitting here wondering, am I enlightened? They just are. You stop trying. There's no effort. You're not searching. You know how the seek and ye will find, right? You're searching because something feels off. Something's gnawing at you, like it was for me for many years. And then you finally don't need to seek anymore because you've awakened fully. It isn't like a partial thing where you wake up, you notice it for like a week or two, maybe a month or two, maybe a year or two even, and then you fall back asleep, you fall back into your old patterns. And that's not to say that when you're finally enlightened, when you're the master, bullshit labels, right? When you're finally there, that's not to say that even someone like me that's awake fully, that doesn't fall back into stuff, that you don't have to purge some stuff. I talked about this in my video where there's still some final stuff to purge. This gunk, seeing through the illusion, fearing the death, right? Fearing the end of the physical body, because death is coming for us all. That's like the final hurdle. You're like, oh man, I have to like grapple with my own mortality. The thing is though, like, not a problem, but the thing is that when you're fully present, death isn't really on your mind because you're too busy living. We sit here and like we're projecting into the future what our death may or may not look like. Is it going to be painful? Oh, I hope I don't go out this way, you know, all this different stuff. But in reality, when you're truly rooted in yourself all the time, death is like the furthest thing from your mind. You're too busy living. You're too busy immersed in this current moment in life itself, in God playing out before you, the everything of the everything. You're merged with it. But if you're finding yourself going back into old patterns, even though you're like, I woke up, and I see all of this and like it was blissful for a time, but then something happened and like, you know, I bought back into like this illusion. I don't know what happened. I just feel like crap, right? If you're in that place, then there's still some work to be done. And it doesn't have to be like this difficult work that you're like embarking on. It's like, oh, I'm going to try super hard. And if it doesn't work out this way, you know, and all this other stuff, it doesn't have to be that way. Like ultimately you're seeking, you're searching. And then it comes to you and you're like, oh, there it is again. I'll step fully into it now. I'll see what it looks like. I'll see how it is. How does it feel? Is it better? I hope it's better. Because if it's not, then like, what am I doing wasting my time with this stuff? Why am I bothering searching for this so-called enlightenment, so-called whatever, if it's going to feel like crap? And that's kind of the paradox of it, man, is like, it will bring on stuff to test you. And you're like, oh man, I don't know if I'm ready to look at all of this stuff, to feel incredibly alone at times. That's why it's the loneliest path. It's the path least chosen. Everyone's too busy caught up in their own ignorance. They've bought into this illusion. They've bought into this physical reality. They're searching for themselves there, whether they realize it or not, ultimately. But you're not going to find yourself there. And then the question is like, are we gonna snap out of it? So you're alone on this path, man. It feels lonely. Why? Because you come to a certain place of understanding where it's very hard to relate to other people. Okay, number one. And then number two, you don't want to participate in the nonsense that they're participating in necessarily, right? Because like you don't feed their drama. You don't want to talk about the same nonsense that they talk about because you know there's more important stuff to be dealt with. There's more important stuff to place your focus and attention and energy on. And that they're too lost giving their power away, giving themselves away to these illusory ideas of what they think they should be chasing after. These ideas of stuff that's going to complete them. Once I reach this place, once I attain this goal, once I have this much money, once I have this family and this wife and this children or whatever, however they've created that image that they're trying to achieve, you kind of see past all of that stuff. And so now you're almost looking for little snapshots of joy within the illusion that everyone is tapped into. And so you'll be more comfortable going to the park and sitting on the park bench and just observing life, or like going into the wilderness and just meditating and being at one, or sitting in your home alone, completely still. You know, maybe you don't watch the same movies and shows that you used to watch. Maybe you don't go on the internet and doom scroll like you used to. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like these things, they fall away. And now you're just left with yourself and you're still all the time. And it's like, what do I do? Because we're so programmed into this doing. We're not okay with just being at rest, being still. And out of that stillness, out of that rest, out of that boredom that the mind gets bored, comes the action, comes the inspiration to like get up into doing something. And then like, here's the other thing is that when you're going through this process from awakening to your final enlightenment, okay, you try and find comfort in stuff. It's like, man, like I feel so blissful, but at the same time, like the fear of the illusion is still trying to penetrate this force field of love that you've created for yourself. This like just bubbling fountain essence that you are has like come and surrounded you and engulfed you in this loving energy, and you're projecting that all the time. It's coming out of you all the time, and this fear is trying to come in and like get you to buy into it again. It's like, hey man, lose yourself in this. Go have the Big Mac, man. Hey, you used to have a food addiction, go have the Big Mac. Go have that drink, the temptation. And that's why Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane is like telling them, pray that you don't enter into temptation. That's what he's saying. He's saying like, don't fall into the trap, into the illusion of this reality. That's all it is. That's all the devil is. It can tempt you with the physical. It exists in the physical. It's all it can be. You know, like these ideas and illusions of like what you think your life will be like when you're too busy ignoring the current moment, which could be playing out perfectly for you. And so you've like divided yourself and given your power away to it. And when you reclaim the wholeness that you are, now you're like invincible, basically. You know that you're divinely protected. And the ironic thing, like when I say it's super lonely and nobody can really understand, there's only one entity that understands, guys, and that's God. And what happens is now you're speaking to God directly. You are seeing God literally in everything. God is sending you signs constantly, and you're so still and you're so aware that you're just like, oh, God's like, like God fucks with you. He has fun with you. He jokes with you. A song comes on because you were thinking of something. You know what I mean? Like random stuff happens, and it's not random. It's all perfect. It's all perfectly orchestrated. No such thing as random or luck. But it comes and it's like, oh, and you're like, you're dancing through this physical, you know, and like a person comes into your path and then you like speak and like share certain stuff, and then you bless them and they're on their way, and you're not trying to like seek yourself in these interactions. You're not attaching yourself. Oh, here's a hot girl, here's a hot guy. Oh, what you know, I hope it goes here. I hope it goes. You're not like projecting all the time. You're not expecting all the time. You're just here, and whatever flows into your current moment, you accept it fully, and you're like, that's God sending it to me. Just love, just be, just like care, just have compassion, just be considerate. The more you do, there's a reason they're telling you to behave that way, man. And there's a reason they're telling you that when you act in this way and you give and you do all of these things, that like the better stuff comes in, because you are vibrationally, naturally aligning yourself with that energy, and you are becoming it the more and more you do it, and the more and more you embody it. And it's like the cliche today where they're like, hurt people, right? You start seeing everyone as hurt, as flawed, as like children almost, as just misunderstanding, as of being ignorant, of being lost. There's so many ways to describe it. And I'm not trying to put them down, because I can't put them down, because I myself was there too. I'm a hypocrite if I do. I'm not loving myself and what I learned and my past and my experiences. If I put those people down, I'm putting myself down, because I myself was suffering, you know? And it doesn't mean that when you finally wake up and you're enlightened, that like you don't suffer anymore. I still have some suffering, but I don't lose myself in it. It comes in, I see it quickly, and I deal with it, and I move on. I'm not wallowing in shit, man. I'm not chasing illusory stuff. That's all it is, man. Right action, right mindedness, right whatever, you know, the noble truths, and like all of that stuff, it's all rooted out of the same thing. And so when you're in that rootedness, you see all of it. And you're like, oh, there's so many commonalities between all of these religions. They're all pointing to the same thing. And all you got to do is just do the basic essential stuff, and everything else takes care of itself. And you're trying to point this out to people, but they can't, they're not at that like consciousness level to see what you're talking about. Yeah, it sounds all super cool and fancy and nice, Darius, you know, while you're talking about it. But then like as soon as like the camera turns off and you go and you like start doing something else, you lose yourself again. Because this is not at the forefront of like what you should be doing. That's why like all of these religions and spiritualists are talking about devotion. That's why they're saying 100% of the time it is on your like it's on your periphery. It's on your awareness. You're noticing it. You are connected to the source. God is at the forefront of your mind, of your being. When you're the stillness, you are connected with God. You've reached the union. And so like there's after a while, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. Like, I don't even know how, I don't know. I don't know how else to describe this stuff, guys. I don't. It's just so pointless after a while. It's like a waste of my time and energy to keep talking about this shit and just like the same stuff over. Just, it's all the same. It's all the same. It's lonely out here, guys. You know, and it's not like you're lonely, like the loneliness epidemic today, where people are like searching for this partner. No, I'm not lonely for a partner, man. The only thing that completes me now is God. Doesn't mean that I can't have a partner. Doesn't mean that I can't have a family and friends and all of this stuff. It doesn't mean that like I think I'm so greater and beyond them and stuff. Like I can't relate to them anymore. Oh no, you know, like yeah, I said before that like it's, you find it hard because the super basic shit, you know, where people are just like talking about other people, you know, like People Magazine and like Inside Edition and like the Kardashians and like all this stupid shit that people like watch on TV. That's where their mind is. They by what they consume and what they talk about and who they are, they're telling you where their mind is. They're telling you what they're about. And so for me, I'm gonna vibe with people that are talking about the highest. God itself, the energy of all that is, and all of its various manifestations and variations and ideas and just wordplay. And at some point, you're just like, you know what? I'd rather just sit here and be still with you and connect with you that way and just do stuff and have fun and share a sunset, you know, and share a hike. And like you occasionally talk and like you see how absurd and fun and funny life is, and you just like laugh. You have like these fucking amazing like funny experiences now, man. And we all stop taking everything so seriously, and it's not like one people's and one nation trying to dominate the other, trying to control resources because everyone is so scarcity mindset all the time. That's the true abundant mindset, is that you know you're protected and you're always provided for. There's no way around it. And whatever scarcity you're going through, whatever like your low money, low food, low housing, low anything, whatever difficulty you're experiencing is just an illusion. It is there to teach you a lesson. It is there like any suffering that you're experiencing, guys, you stop whatever you're doing and you look at it and you ask God, I can't see why I'm going through this. Please send me the understanding, and it will come to you. It might not come to you immediately. God doesn't work that way. Sometimes you get stuff immediately and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it takes a week or two or a couple months before you experience enough to understand that thing that you were going through. That's why you look at the past to try and learn and understand from it, but you're not like losing yourself in it and like, oh no, my past is haunting me, you know, like fucking haunting you constantly to this day. No. You've forgiven yourself. You've moved on. And by default, you naturally forgive others for they themselves being lost in this illusion. That's what the compassion holds, man. Automatic forgiveness. God is nothing but compassion. God is nothing but forgiveness. He knows the moment you do it, you're already forgiven. Even in your sin, even in your disconnection from God, you're already forgiven. Because he knows that this whole thing is one big trickster. This whole thing is one big devil. It's one big illusion. He knows. You're meant to get caught up in it, guys. So don't condemn yourself if you happen to get caught up in it. You know, if you buy into the new age stuff, don't look back on it, you know, and be like, oh no, Darius said that stuff is an illusion. What a piece of shit that I thought I was like awakened, but I'm really not awakened because like I see through like all of those nonsense labels and shit that they're putting on stuff. Oh no, how could I have been so naive and so lost and so ignorant? You know, no, because all of that stuff maybe got you to the point where you watch this video and maybe I snapped some fucking sense into you. I don't know. Not that I'm like some like perfect harbinger of truth. But like that's my gift, is just to be able to explain these things in a way that maybe you get it. And most of the stuff that I talk about is pretty fucking advanced, man. I'm not introductory stuff. You want introductory stuff, go read The Power of Now. Go read the 4 agreements, go read basic stuff. Because that'll get you prepared for the shit that I'm talking about. I'm talking to people that are awake. I'm talking to people that like have glimpsed this stuff already. They already know. And I'm trying to get you to the final precipice, man. I'm trying to get you guys to like the door is opening. Are you gonna walk through the door of truth? I can't get you any closer, man. It is something that each individual has to realize themselves, the self-realization that Yogananda talks about. That's all that matters to me, man. I don't care how it looks. I don't care what you do. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't. I just want you guys to wake up. Why? Because the more people we get to wake up, the quicker we turn this hell that we've created for ourselves on this earth around. The quicker we course correct, the quicker we save this earth from the destruction that we've been doing, this unhinged consumption, this unhinged materialism. What is it is not on the level of words or mind or anything. It's just fleeting all the time. That's the paradox, that's the irony, that's what's fucking with you all the time, is you can't put your finger on it. No matter how hard you try, you can't describe it. And that's why it all feels just like pointless and ridiculous and like tiring and like frustrating after a while, because it's just like, I don't know, like, what am I doing? Is it worth it? So like that same frustration that you feel in life because like life isn't playing out for you the way you want it to, or you're going through a difficult time, or you're suffering a lot, or your family is suffering a lot, and you feel like shit and everything's crappy, that you get to that same frustration level when you've awakened and you're close to your enlightenment, because you're like I just can't. It's like a burden almost. It's like the biggest blessing, but it's also the biggest curse. Because you see, and nobody wants to listen to you. That's the thing, like all of these truth tellers that have come before us, people listen to them, but they don't really listen to them. Because it's hard to change your ways when you're lost in the suffering. So like you hear the words, they sound super inspiring and cool. You could sit for days and just like listen to these people speak about this stuff. But then now when you need to go and implement those ideas and thoughts and beliefs and beingness and stillness in your actual life, you don't know how to do it. And it's not at the forefront of your mind and your consciousness to constantly be doing it, to devote yourself to this cause, to this lonely path. You're like, I'm too busy being distracted by all of this stuff to go and do that stuff. And today it's even worse than it's ever been, because we have so much stuff that we can distract ourselves with. Like back 2,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, even 500 years ago, they didn't have all of the different media that we have today, guys. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have social media. They didn't have electricity. They had books, and they had each other, and they had stories around the campfire, and they had going out into the wilderness and doing stuff as entertainment. And all of that stuff was way closer to your beingness by default than all of this mind stuff that we're getting sucked into and lost into. When you're on your phone and you're scrolling, doom scrolling, or on TikTok, or on Reddit, or on ESPN, or on any website, right? It is all a mental projection. It is all mental masturbation that is distracting you from yourself. It is one thing to be centered and rooted in yourself and doing those things and not losing yourself in them and just partaking in them a little bit to maybe get some information or to just see what's going on. And it's another thing to I feel called to do something. I fear missing out on something. I fear your mind constantly has to know what's going on. And ultimately, you don't need to know what's going on, because what's going on is yourself, and your subconscious is always tapped into what's going on. And when you are aware and aligned enough, what needs to be known in the current moment is perfectly made known to you. And you just follow the current moment. You follow the signs that play out in this current moment, and you're always dodging and weaving any potential negative outcomes because you're protected, because you see the signs. You don't have to fear, like, I have to watch the news 24/7 because, oh my God, life is going to shit. And like, what nation is fucking up the other nation, and what law is coming into effect that's like doing this, and what, this and that, and like what dictator is doing this and what king is doing that. And like, however government looks, you bypass all of it. It's just like all thrown in the dumpster, man, along with all the new age jargon I was talking about before, and all the religions, and all anything that exists on the level of your mind that you've bought into as truth. It's ultimately a figment of your imagination. And all I can do is talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. And then you're like, but Darius, you're throwing out all these different ideas and words and stuff about how it is. It's like, no, all of the stuff I'm saying is bullshit, guys. All of it is. Because it's just words and grunts and noises and like, like trying to describe something that just doesn't, is beyond sound, is beyond anything. We're just fucking animals out here, like role playing as like these divine beings that we think we're like so special, and we're not. We've elevated ourselves outside of our status, outside of our true status, The only gift that we've been given that exists beyond what an animal is like our own ability to understand our divinity and to wonder about God and wonder about our place in the world. And everything else is just like embedded within itself, this mental construct. And like science is one aspect of it, and then like religion is the other aspect of it. And ultimately they're both an illusion. They can create, they can do, they can like, all of these things. Like science can improve our lives, and religion, when you tap into it, holds those truths, but they are not the only final destiny truth. Like the movie's Final Destination, and you're trying to outrun death, it's coming for you. There's no escaping it. Make peace with it. Live right now. That's all there is.